Good morning, students. In the last class, we have discussed about the soil formation, soil erosion, the factors involved in the soil formation. In the same way, how the same factors are going to cause soil erosion. What is the importance of soil and how the biodiversity of a particular area is influenced by the quality of the soil. All those things we have discussed. Now we will learn about the biogeochemical cycles. Biogeochemical cycles. Okay. Dynamic, that means active, always having some interactions in it, or always having some works in it. Such things are known as active or dynamic. Dynamic and stable. Stable means not that easily getting destroyed. Highly stable, not getting easily fluctuated. Such a thing is called stable. Having always some interactions in it is called a dynamic, and not easily getting destroyed is called stable. So, dynamic and stable ecosystems are formed on this earth by the continuous interactions between the biotic and abiotic components. What are biotic components? The living organisms. Abiotic components: water, air, soil, temperature. All these things are known as abiotic components. Between these abiotic components and biotic components, there are always certain continuous interactions. These interactions keep the ecosystems dynamic and stable. What is ecosystem? A geographical region that contains the continuous interacting living and non-living components in it is known as ecosystem. A geographical area that contains the continuously interacting biotic and abiotic components in it is known as ecosystem. If such ecosystems have to be maintained dynamic and stable, then the continuous interactions between the biotic and abiotic components are needed. As these interactions are taking place, transfer of matter and energy between different components of the biosphere occurs. As the interactions between the biotic and abiotic components are taking place, the transfer of matter and energy between different components of the biosphere takes place. The cyclical transfer of matter and energy. Remember what it is? Cyclical transfer of matter and energy between the biotic and abiotic components of the biosphere is known as biogeochemical cycle. Biogeochemical cycle. A chemical moiety or some energy is getting transferred from bio, that is living organisms or biotic components, to geo, that is non-living component or abiotic component. Then is it going to stay there only? No. Again from that abiotic component it will come back to biotic component. So between the biotic and abiotic components, that chemical is getting transferred in a cyclical manner. Chemical or matter or energy, it is getting transferred in a cyclical manner, such that the cyclical transfer of matter and energy between the biotic and abiotic components of the biosphere is known as biogeochemical cycle. There are several biogeochemical cycles. We are going to discuss in our chapter water cycle, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, and oxygen cycle. What is water cycle? The cyclical process of evaporation of water from water bodies like oceans, rivers, and precipitation of water on the land as rain, and later flowing back into the sea via rivers is known as the water cycle. So where water cycle is starting? From the water bodies like oceans and rivers. How the water cycle is starting? First, water from the water bodies is getting evaporated in the form of water vapor. Then it will form clouds, and clouds, as they become heavy, it starts giving us rain, that is precipitation. As rain, the precipitated water that falls on the land, it flows back again to the seas through rivers. So from seas into the sky, evaporation, from sky on the land, precipitation, and from the land through rivers, it is moving back to the sea. So between seas, sky, land, and again seas, in these components, the water is moving in a cyclical manner. This is known as water cycle. What is the fate of the water that falls on the land in the form of rain? So what will happen to the water that falls on the land, okay, in the form of rain? In the form of rain, water is falling on the land. What happens to this water? So there are some points wise I have discussed all the fate of water. All of the water that falls on the land, it does not immediately flow back into the sea. All of the water that falls on the land does not immediately flow back into the sea. Then what happens to it? Some water seeps into the soil and becomes part of the underground reservoir of fresh water. Some water, it seeps or percolates through the layers of the soil, and it becomes part of the underground reservoir of fresh water. In the underground, okay, also water is present as a reservoir. Okay, into that underground reservoir of fresh water, some amount of water seeps through the soil, and some of the underground water, it finds its way to the surface. Means the water will be, as the water is getting filled in underground, due to the pressure that is present at the bottom of the underground water, it starts moving up through some channels like structure present in the soil. Such oozing out water is known as springs. So some of the underground water finds its way to the surface of the earth through springs. Some of the underground water finds its way to the surface through springs, and some of the underground water is brought to the surface for our use through dug wells or tube wells. So in villages, people will dig the soil to a level of 20 feet, 30 feet like that, and as they dig up to that depth, they can see the water oozing out, and the water will be filled in that particular dug area. So that area is known as what? Dug well. And we know by using some machinery we can dig deep into the soil like a pipe, and we will insert pipes in it and water will be oozing out, and by using motor and all we can pull out that water. That is what called tube well. So some of the underground water is brought to the surface for our use through what? Dug wells or tube wells. Okay. And some of the water is used by terrestrial, means the land living or living on the land. Some of the water is used by the terrestrial animals and plants for their different life processes, right? And what happens to the water during water cycle? Water cycle means as it is getting evaporated, again precipitating on the land, and again wherever it is falling from there entering into the rivers, and there from the rivers it again enters into the seas. In this water cycle, in the path of this water, what happens? What happens to water during the water cycle? Any changes are taking place in the water quality. Any substances are getting into the water. Any substances are removed from the water. All those things can be understood from this question, right? What happens to water during water cycle? Water is considered as universal solvent. That means many substances can be easily getting dissolved in water, because water is having the ability to dissolve many substances. Water can dissolve many minerals in it. So, the soluble minerals of rocks get dissolved in it as water flows through the rocks, because when precipitation takes place, that is when rain takes place, it falls on the rocks of the mountains, and in the forests and all. As the water is falling on the rocks, the soluble minerals present in the rocks, they get dissolved in the rock, right? And with this dissolved minerals, this water enters into the rivers. And rivers, where do they join finally? They join the seas or oceans. Rivers join the seas or oceans. Thus, rivers carry many mineral nutrients from the land to the sea, right? Why this water cycle is taking place? Because of all these purposes. It's not simply taking place for the fun. So the rivers carry many mineral nutrients from the land to the sea, and these mineral nutrients are used by the marine organisms. Marine means the organisms that live in the oceanic water are known as marine organisms. So the mineral nutrients that are brought by the rivers are used by the marine organisms for their better survival, right? This is what that is happening to the water when the water is moving through the water cycle in between different components of the water cycle. In the next class we will discuss about an important cycle, that is nitrogen cycle. Thank you.